Are you like most golfers who've just pretty much given up on hitting the ball properly? You just like, I'm never going to hit it that far. I'm always going to hit it 220, 230. That's it. I'm never going to hit any farther. I'm just not that good, or I just don't understand it, or I'm not that talented, or what have you. And I'm always going to swing over the top like you see here on the right. And that's just kind of going to be your game. You've just resolved to accepting that as your fate. Well, how do you take somebody who swings like this, off balance, over the top, and within 2 days, having them hitting from 220 yards on average, 240 if they really, really crush one, to hitting it over 270 yards at age 56, never swinging over the top again, swinging on plane, stop hitting it off the toe, hitting it in the center of the face, and being able to hit a draw in just 2 days? That's exactly what I'm going to show you in this video. All right, let's see how many of you can relate to this. First move, we're going to roll that left arm in, push the left arm across the body and get the club really deep. And now we're going to actually recover and get into a pretty good position, but because of the way we loaded up that left arm to start the backswing, we now pull hard with the back of that left arm with the shoulder and the back muscles, and that gets the shoulders opening up early, the club coming down steep. You can see it's going through the forearm here. He's losing a ton of lag. Of course, now the club's outside his hands. He's over the top. And now look at the path that the club is on. The path should be, in an ideal world, the club should be traveling from right here and releasing there and then going this way. But instead, this club, like so many golfers out there, is going this way. So how do you take this golf? Look at that path. Look how hard left that path is going. Look where the ball is starting. It disappears. There it is. Right there. That's a hard pull. So how do you take this swing and get it to swing hard enough and fast enough and to hit the ball with a draw and over 270 yards for a 56-year-old golfer? You don't. You can't. You can't swing over the top like this and hit it 270 yards. And it's not going to work. So we had to scrap this because this wasn't working. And this is what I see with so many golfers who don't understand how to use their body to generate power when they're trying to swing with a lead side dominant swing. And so I called Venkatesh up. He had just broken 80 with the Axiom Power program for the first time in his life. And I said, hey man, how'd you like to swing like Tiger Woods in 2 days? He's like, of course, I'm in. So I actually went out to California and worked with him for 2 days. And the results, well, they're pretty mind-bending. How far did you just hit that drive?
272.
What's your average drive?
240.
240. So we
Usually 220, average 240. 272.
That's not too shabby, buddy.
Unbelievable. And one swing thought. That's all I had. One single swing thought.
So check it out. Here he is on the right with swinging way over the top. On the left, completely different animal. Watch the difference in how easily he can shallow out the plane. Notice his shoulders aren't ripping through now. Look at the club, right through the shoulder, through the bicep, through the forearm. You can golf with that. Massive, massive difference. So how did I get him there? Well, obviously, he'd already bought the Axiom Power program, so he's understanding how to throw, but we took it a step further. Let me show you what we did. So let's first look at where we started. So this was the first swing I captured when I first got there. He was warming up on the right here. And you're going to see a lot of things that you can probably relate to. A little reverse pivot here. And then as we're coming down, the big issue is we start widening that angle between the forearm and the shaft. So we're starting to lose lag. And then it gets really bad down here. Now as the hands get in front of the thigh, that club shaft should be still parallel to the ground, but you can see he's casting the club. And then there's nothing left to hit at this point. So he's just kind of got to flip it through a little bit. And you can see he's also going to catch it off the toe. So the ball's not going to go anywhere. There's no speed. There's no compression. And then there's a little bit of a flip in here. And you can see his shoulders kind of hiking up, trying to figure out, how do I get power out of this thing? So this is no bueno. This obviously isn't going to work when you're losing all this angle between the right hand and the shaft right away. So then what I did, I said, okay, we're going to work on some new stuff. So we took part of the Axiom Power program stuff. We're working on the throw. And I said, all I want you to focus on is the release. And I'm going to talk more about that in a minute. But here's his first attempt at feeling what it feels like and what I describe as what it feels like to release the club exactly like what Tiger Woods is doing. So now you can see a massive change in the shaft angle. Now look at the difference in the shaft where the club is now between his forearm and over here. It's wildly different. So the angle between his forearm and the shaft is potential energy. There's leverage there. So now, and there's no flip at this point. When your hands get that far in front, you're never, ever going to flip the club. You're going to be able to drive through and release the club head hard back into the ball. So that's the first step, is we were working on throwing and understanding how to release the right hand actively, which I'll talk more about in a second. All right, now let's take a look. I've got his first swing up here on the right, his swing after doing some work on the left, and let's watch what happens by simply working on, as he said, just one feel with the release. Now watch what happens. First thing you're going to notice is where the elbow is going to be. So notice on this side, his elbow is starting to, as I talked about, internally rotate. It's moving away from his body. On this side, you can see he's moving his elbow into his body. And now he's into a wildly different position with his right wrist. So now once we get the club in front of the thigh, notice where his hand is. It's basically right on the back of the ball. Here his hand is back here by his feet, and his shaft is parallel to the ground. So he's already starting to cast the club, and this is where all your power goes. And now watch the right angle, the angle between the right wrist and the shaft. Now you're starting to see it really disappear. And so now we've really lost this. But here, his hands are already back in the center of his body. The back of his left hand is past his zipper here. It's not even gotten to his zipper yet, and he's lost all this leverage. As we keep going, now he's going to have an aggressive release. He's got something to hit with. Notice his hands are actually more in front of the ball now on the right, where he started, barely in line. His hands are a little bit back, and he's striking off the toe here. He's hit it in the center of the face. There's no face rotation there. And he's got a really good extension and release here where he's throwing with his right hand, where you can see here he's pulling up really hard with that left shoulder. You can see it's almost disappearing behind his head already. Here, the right hand is doing the work. And that's what we're talking about here. So now you're going to see a little bit of a chicken wing going on here. Here he's just releasing the crap out of the club. And there's so much more speed there. And that is how he picked up over 30 yards on his drives. It's understanding how to release this right hand. So what I have for you tomorrow is a video that's going to completely change the way that you think about the golf swing if you've struggled with naturally trying to use your body for power in a lead side dominant swing. I think it's the most important video I've ever done. So out of the literal thousands of videos that I have done, nothing has created results the way that what you're going to watch tomorrow is. So make sure that you subscribe and turn on notifications in YouTube so that you can get notified when this video hits, because I promise you it's going to change the way you think about golf, because all of these people that I'm working with are picking up 30, 40, 50, almost 60 yards instantly. This isn't something that takes you months to do. This isn't something that you could do slow-mo. In fact, I'm actually doing this all fast. I'm having them do nothing but move very quickly. And that is part of the trick to this. And it's super simple. So make sure you check your inbox tomorrow. I'll send out an email, but make sure you turn on notifications so you get this video sent to you. Only if you want to pick up 30, 40 yards and realize that you actually can hit it way farther than you think. Because tomorrow I'm going to prove to you that you can.